But if the issue is restrictions in the contract, which tend to lean towards boxing, because I don't know what other restrictions he would talk about. If your restrictions that you're mad about are they won't let me box, and they won't let me box without me taking all of the profits, you're delusional. Like LeBron James being like, I truly don't understand why the Los Angeles Lakers won't let me go play a few games in the NFL. Welcome back to the 11th Island MMA Weekly Show. I'm Brad here with Chris, here to talk about everything that you need to know in the MMA world this week. Chris, what are we starting off with?
We're starting with the big news that happened Saturday night. You probably all saw it. Is it even news at that point? Ngannou retains the heavyweight strap against Ciryl Gane. Dana White leaves the building. He is now missing in action. We're putting out posters for him. Brad, what did you think of this fight and the fallout?
I think to start off with the fight, going into the third round here, I think we've seen a real big change in Francis and Ganoon. We knew obviously winning the belt was a big change because we saw different aspects of him, and he didn't just knock out Miocic, he outclassed him truly in that fight. But in this with Ciryl Gane, I mean, Ciryl Gane was a betting favorite coming into this fight. After 2 rounds, he's down 2 rounds to nothing. Clearly the power isn't working. He's exhausted. He's got a torn MCL and ACL that we don't know about. He's facing one of the most dynamic fighters you've ever seen, and he goes Francis Nurmagomedov all over him and just grapples him for the last 3 rounds to take a decision here. I don't think I would have ever expected Francis Ngannou to shoot double leg takedowns and be completely successful. And it's not like Ciryl Gane is just inept at takedown defense. He'd never been taken down before this fight.
Yeah.
So it was, for me, I was really impressed with the dynamics of his game, and I think that the move, there was a lot of talk about the coaching change that Francis Ngannou had and his beef with his old coach. Clearly, his new coach is doing something right.
Well, I mean, and it's not a case of the one-eyed king in the kingdom of the blind. You know, he's not doing this against another heavy hitter. He's doing this against a guy who's probably one of the best in the heavyweight division at just dynamic fight beyond the knockout stuff. So to be so technical to say, I got one leg, oh, I'm gonna take another leg. He really took his time with that move, and he's so big and powerful. Ciryl Gane figures out exactly what he's doing, but it's almost like, oh, he's not gonna do that. He's not gonna do that. Oh, he's gonna do that, and you really catch him off guard. It's dangerous, man. This is a complete narrative shift for this whole everything that was supposed to happen coming to this fight. Everybody had it. You know, oh, he just needs one punch. Ciryl Gane's gonna piece him up. He's the technical guy. He's gonna style him. Where Ngannou's gonna go pop, 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 and then next thing you know, we're seeing a completely different fight from what we were promised. Now, what is this?
That's why MMA is beautiful, though, because you never know what's going to happen. You have to always tune in. I mean, we're sitting here eating crow because last week we both picked Gane to win. I truly thought that Ngannou just needed to land that punch, and it just was a matter. If you would have told me somebody was going to wrestle, I would have said, well, I guess Gane's found a new aspect of his game. I did not see this coming, especially considering everybody leading up to it said, Ngannou has to win it in the first 10 minutes. It's only 10 minutes of the fight he didn't win.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point, too, because really, I remember being in the second round as the clock ran out, and Francis Ngannou did not look like Francis Ngannou. He was looking almost timid a little bit. He was just very slow, very cautious, and I'm thinking, man, this is the 30 seconds here. Once you get into this third round, it's over. You got to, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? He just wasn't doing anything. And then, yeah, completely opposite to what anybody would tell you. And these are not just hacks that were telling you things. This was us. You know, this was us telling you that this is how it's going to go, and it went completely different.
Yeah, it was the narrative across most of the MMA community. So congrats to Francis and Ngannou. If he truly has put it together and has added not even elite, it doesn't have to be elite, but a good wrestling game to his overall skill set, he might be the most dynamic heavyweight the UFC has ever seen. But Chris, are we ever going to see him again?
Yeah, that's the question. Well, are we gonna ever see Uncle Dana again? That's another question. Um, it seems to me.
Yeah, for people
Yeah.
that don't know too, Dana White did not, and obviously if you watched the fight, you saw it was Mick Maynard who put the belt around Francis Ngannou. Who he's not a nobody in the UFC. He's one of the matchmakers. So there's obviously that close relationship. When I saw it live, I assumed, like, I'm going to be honest with you, and this might be a Dana White homer take. I just assumed that Dana White understood that the relationship with Ngannou is not there right now, and to not take that moment away and be a part of that, he let Mick Maynard go in there because it's Francis's moment. There's beef there. I don't want to ruin it. But given that
Wow.
he didn't show up to the
Well,
press conference, that might not be the case.
and that's going to be the PR story the next time Dana White comes out, and then there's going to be a bad case of food poisoning that kept him out of the press conference. So that's squared away. I mean, the thing that makes me kind of laugh is Dana White almost needed Francis Ngannou to lose. Like, let's come out and say it, right? He wanted, or he at least wanted Francis Ngannou to lose. It either helps him at the negotiation table to bring him back, or it kind of screws him on the way out the door, where he's going to go make a lot more money than he did with Dana White in the UFC. In Francis' mind, we'll see. But then
wanted him, yep.
But then on the other side, you have Francis Ngannou, who wants to really put on a showcase here against a guy in Ciryl Gane, that he can go out and be a big money boxer. And nobody got what they wanted.
No, not at all. It's if Dana White, sorry about the voice. If Dana White truly wanted him to lose, Ngannou's on his way out the door. Ngannou's one of the most marketable heavyweights they've ever had, and winning just increases his stock. Not going to the press conference is very salty from Dana, but in the press conference from Ngannou, he's so soft-spoken. But one of the things he said with the UFC contract that he's unhappy with is it's restrictive. He's not just, if he just came out and said, I want to be paid more, that's it. That's understandable. His disclosed purse was $600,000. People need to understand that's not how much Francis Ngannou made for this fight. That's his disclosed guaranteed purse. He gets pay-per-view points. The UFC routinely will give extra money depending on how your relationship is. So he might not get that here, but he's not walking away with only $600,000. That's simply his guaranteed purse. But should he probably be guaranteed more? Probably. I think that Ngannou, I mean, Chris is just sideways on the camera now.
Yeah,
I think Ngannou should, there's no way that he's not. What's that?
I just messed that up. Just continue, sorry.
Yeah, if you want to fix it, I'll just keep going here.
Yeah, okay.
There's no way he should be guaranteed less than $1 million. But if the issue is restrictions in the contract, which tend to lean towards boxing, because I don't know what other restrictions he would talk about. If your restrictions that you're mad about are they won't let me box, and they won't let me box without me taking all of the profits, you're delusional. Well, it would be like playing in the NBA and being like, I truly don't understand. Like LeBron James being like, I truly don't understand why the Los Angeles Lakers won't let me go play a few games in the NFL. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. And why you sign a contract to be a part of that organization? They're not going to just go let you make money off of the branding and marketing that they've done for you.
Well, what if, I mean, part of the restrictions, it's got to be, he wants to just wear certain shorts and t-shirts that have companies' names on that are going to pay him when he goes into the octagon. I think that is another element, probably. When he talks about restrictions, he's probably talking about the Venom deal and the Reebok deal before it that restricts his ability. Because This guy, if you go on Instagram and you see, I mean, every third post on Instagram that you're gonna see is an ad already.
Yeah.
The actual Instagram ad. And if you
Yeah.
follow Francis and Ganoon, that rate's just gonna be a little bit higher because everything is an ad with Francis and Ganoon.
I understand that. And people have complained about this in the UFC for a long time. This, when it was new, I understood because fighters were already under contract.
Yeah, but you
and
like the way the
things got
shorts
taken
look, you know, so
No, but if you want to wear sponsors on your shorts, sign with Bellator. You knew about the you knew that you couldn't have sponsors when you signed your contract. You knew that Bellator was out there. The reason why you didn't sign with Bellator and you went to the UFC because you're still going to make more money in the UFC.
yeah, well, it's restrictive, man. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
You can't fit a big guy like Ngannou in such tight restrictions.
And well, I mean, those shorts he was wearing in the cage looked like they were restricting some blood flow. They were the tightest shorts I've ever seen. But it's unfortunate because he truly does have a chance to be one of the most marketable, profitable UFC fighters we've ever seen. He could be a pay-per-view star if him and the UFC could reconcile their differences and the marketing machine for the UFC could just turn it up a notch for him, understanding that he's going to stay in the organization and the money that they put into him is not going to be wasted for him to go fight Tyson Fury. They could both make big money. Francis and Gane would see a lot of money. The fight that we're going to talk about, like Jon Jones is out there. We're going to talk about that, how he fits into this. That has a chance to do McGregor type numbers if they marketed it properly. But both fighters can't stay out of their own way at this point for very different reasons. I'm not comparing the two. But why would you, if you're the UFC, if you're a business, why would you dump money into marketing, dump money into fighters if you don't know if they're going to fight another fight in your organization? Francis and Gane spent more time talking about Tyson Fury before this fight than he did Ciryl Gane. What? How does that help sell this fight? Especially when you go out there and you're wrestling. People aren't buying the fight. A lot of people, if you're a boxing fan, you're going, well, I want to see this guy box. I didn't even know he's fighting Ciryl Gane because he never mentioned his name. It's illogical. You cannot complain about the money that you make without putting in effort to make the company money that you signed a contract for. And I acknowledge that there's issues with the UFC pay structure. I get it. But it's a two-way street. There can also be issues with what you're doing for the company that make them not want to pay you more too.
Man, if you had said that at the top of the show, I could have slept in.
I mean, people can be mad in the comments, but is there anything else you have to say on that?
I'm not touching that, dude. I mean, you said you I mean, you're good. You sounded pretty convincing. A little restrictive, but I think you're right. Ultimately, I think the money really and the logical sense is in a Jon Jones, Francis and Ngannou fight. And whatever you're gonna do it after that. You know, do it if you're gonna leave. That's when you're gonna have the hot hand and you can leave. Especially if you think it's Francis and Ngannou, you can beat Jon Jones. And we'll get into this a little bit more later, but I'll end on this. Just be a company man, figure this out, do that, make that happen as a team. You got to build up your other. You have to. You're not only responsible for yourself, selling yourself, but you're selling the other guy too. Because when you beat him, that's the reflection on you. So if you're talking about Tyson Fury, and that was what I had said going into this. I mean, if you beat Ciryl Gane, he's not a huge name that the boxing audience is going to be able to say, oh, I know this guy. He beat that guy. Francis is legit. It's a who? You know, and it doesn't help you. And if you're not going to like have Ciryl Gane's name in your mouth, especially when there's such interesting history between those two that you can explore, and we were on the edge of our seat, because if you know the history, you see
Yeah.
Gane's coach walk in the building and you're on the edge of your seat. There's tension there. But most people never even heard that story. And I think a lot of
Yeah.
that is on Francis and Ganoon and the way he promoted this fight. Now, I
I
mean,
agree. When I just want to rant about one more thing, because I know that while you were saying that, people are fiercely typing away in the comments, telling me that I don't understand and I'm dismissing the fighters. If you are commenting that they should make more and stream the pay-per-view on Saturday, you need to shut your mouth, because you're taking the money out of their pockets by streaming it. If you complain about the money, buy the damn pay-per-view. And if you think that he should make $30 million like Tyson Fury did against Deontay Wilder, you're telling on yourself that you don't know anything about finances. It's
well,
not how it works
the
in big businesses
accountant,
like this.
yeah, okay, it's tax season. We're in business mode.
Go listen to a few of Chael Sonnen's podcasts. He's somebody that's been in the business. He understands how it works. One of the things he talks about is, all right, Tyson Fury works for top ranked boxing, has 8 employees. UFC, how many employees do they have? How many employees do they need to pay? How big's that marketing wheel that they push? How their Performance Institute. They have so many other things. And they also pay some of the other fighters. Like the co-main event made hundreds of thousands. Moreno guaranteed 2. Figueiredo guaranteed 150. Tyson Fury's co-main probably was guaranteed 5 and 5. Let's be real. You can move on to the topic.
Okay. All right. Figueiredo wins number 3. Speaking of Figueiredo making tons of money here, he wins the third fight in the trilogy, beating Brandon Moreno.
150 is not tons of money. Let's be for the war that they put on, but
it's money over time. You know, you do this another time too. You do this 4 times. You know, it adds up.
So the fight itself here. Great fight. I don't have an issue with the scorecard. Do you have an issue with the scorecard, Chris? Am I boring you, Chris? You're yelling.
No, sorry. I had Moreno to win. I really thought it was Moreno. But I'm not upset about Figueiredo, because it's one of those fights where I start out scoring the fight, and then I say, you know what, this is too hard. I don't want to be a judge tonight, and then I stop scoring the fight. And then when the fight ends, I say, oh, no, this dude won. This dude won 100%. The judges don't know what they're doing. And then I'm wrong. Or the judges pick something different, and then I disagree with the judges. So, really, like, the joke's on me, because I just had a great time watching this fight. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was kind of the same way. I didn't score it round by round, but I know round 1 for sure would have been Figueiredo. Round 3, I believe, was the one with the knockdown, and then the other 3 were razor thin. So one of them is going to go to Figueiredo. I really don't have an issue with this. It really, they're 1-1-1 now in the trilogy. I think with everything going on in the flyweight division, which is to say not a lot going on in the flyweight division, I think you just got to run this back for number 4. I don't think anybody has a problem with that. I would pay every weekend to watch these guys fight. It's electric. The personalities clash so much. Brandon Moreno, I picked Figueiredo to win, but I really like Brandon Moreno. I much prefer him as a fighter. He's such a interesting personality for now former UFC champion, and then Figueiredo bringing in Cejudo into his corner, bringing that kind of beef with Moreno to a different level. It's a fight matchup with everything going on outside of the cage, and then they back it up in the cage. That really is polarizing, and at this point truly is probably saving the UFC flyweight division every time they step into the cage.
Yes, this is good for business. This is it's nice to see that there's a logic to the 4th fight. Everybody's for it, because, man, this is a great just matching of skills here from Brandon Moreno, who's so quick, and he's just like a rubber band. Like he just comes right back up at you. And Figueiredo, who just with the power, and I mean, what did you think of just Moreno's chin in this fight?
Yeah, I thought Moreno's got an iron chin because there was going into it. We all know that Figueiredo has the power advantage, but it was almost like he was getting every time Moreno touched him, he was really feeling it a lot more. So it felt like Figueiredo's power advantage and Moreno's chin advantage almost washed that out.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought could swing the judges and they were talking about in the commentary that every time Moreno touched him, Figueiredo really reacted to it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, Figueiredo's power is going to overwhelm even Brandon Moreno's chin, like we saw with the knockdowns. Which that one at the end of round 3, that punch would knock out, I would say, anybody else in the flyweight division.
Mm-hmm.
That just shows you how tough Brandon Moreno is, the heart that he has. Well, against a guy like Figueiredo, sometimes it just doesn't. Even if you're not getting knocked out, the knockdowns really add up in a fight like this on a scorecard, and you can't use an iron chin to get your way out of that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, it was insane. Moreno's heart, his speed, and Figueiredo, his willingness to pound the pocket. I think one, the cut was super healthy. You saw him on the scale minus a pound, and just looking good. And at that point, I knew my pick was washed. But I still say, I mean, I was wrong about the fight. I did change my pick based on how Figueiredo hit the scale, but that doesn't matter. I'm not, that I was wrong about the fight.
No, I think it's fair to say though that, my pick, like if Figueiredo would have showed up to the scale unhealthy, I would have really went back on my
but
pick.
in terms of the show,
fair.
I was wrong, and then, and Figueiredo looked good. He looked healthy, and he was light on his feet. He was circling. He was willing to continue to push Moreno, which is good. It was I really like to see. It was nice to see Figueiredo be back at his true form after taking a fight off. Now we can say that the second fight, okay. These guys are supposed to fight very close. The fact that Moreno had such a time with Figueiredo in that second fight, that's going to be on the cut. That's going to be on the health. He had, food poisoning, like probably what Dana White has right now, and he's just in the bathroom. No one can find him. So, that is, it's good to see. And for Figueiredo to immediately say, okay, we're going to a fourth fight. These guys, yes, they really hate each other. Yes, there's the beef, and then Henry Cejudo, and the whole their countries. The Portuguese versus the Spanish thing. Like it's just there's a lot going on here, but at the same time, these are two guys that understand that their division is very weak right now, or not weak. It's just it's in development. You have Asimov coming up. Askarov coming up. See, I mixed up his name. He's not ready to be a champ yet. And you got him coming up. You got things working, some things bubbling, but right now the flyweight division could really use a game plan for what 2022 looks like, and right now it's just looking like these guys fighting.
Yeah, I think the only other names like Pantoja has got a chance for a flyweight title shot. The only other name that the UFC I could see them wanting to put in for marketing because could sell as a big fight is Kai Kara France. Because you co-main him in a flyweight title fight, ideally on an Adesanya at the top, really push the city kickboxing. But at this point, I agree. This is a perfect co-main title fight for a big title fight up top. I think going into number 4, it's just the discussion is depending on how this goes, are we going to see number 5?
Yep. All right. So now we're going to talk about Twitter drama. Jon Jones Tweets. following the victory from Francis and Ganoon. He says, "Lol, bad poop. I might just enjoy retirement. I love how everyone gets so impressed with the new guy. Lol. If this is the apex of heavyweight fighting, I'm excited about it. Got some more records to break."
So, in a matter of about 20 minutes, he contradicts himself, saying, pretty much describing how he can just walk in and break records in the heavyweight division if this is the apex of it, and then he might just say retire. At this point, Jon Jones, what Stevens, I mean, he's him and Conor McGregor every Saturday night are just going to tune in and they're going to tweet and they're going to make it about him because of their names. People like us are going to sit there and make a full slide on the side that we're going to talk about it. It's very close to what's going on, John. If you want this fight, that's next. If Jon Jones shows up to the table and says, I want to fight for the heavyweight championship, he will. And given the skill set that he possesses, he a lot of people would pick him to win. To do that, he's going to have to prove to the UFC that he's not going to walk away afterwards like he did from the light heavyweight title, that he needs to stay and be active. He's going to have to show that he can not get arrested, not pop for a PED, which, if we're being honest, is slim to none because both of those have happened multiple times.
And ultimately not be a liability to the people around him.
Yes. It's a concern. Jon Jones is a concerning situation for a lot of people. I think if we were to look at this from a humanitarian perspective, he should probably never fight again. But if we're looking at this from a fight fan perspective, it's an intriguing matchup. And at the end of the day, Jon Jones has made money in his career. We don't know how well he's taken care of that money. He might need to fight because there's a situation when he walked away. He hasn't fought since, I want to say, early 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. So it's a long time without a paycheck. I'm guessing nobody's sponsoring you, John, because of your shenanigans. He might that, like, when he first left, he said, I'm going to do it for the little guy. I'm going to make sure that we get paid. That stance might soften a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, let's not forget this is there's been a pandemic too. So whatever, I guess, I mean, he doesn't. It's not like he runs like a restaurant or something. So actually, probably is not hurt too much by that. But I don't know what does Jon Jones do for money.
Can I ask you a question, Chris? And
yeah,
for the YouTube. You edit the YouTube. What is on Jon Jones' head right now?
Oh yeah, that's like a lion hat. So I had to find a lion hat because I wanted to have. I couldn't, like, I just searched Jon Jones, and then wanted his Twitter pictured one, and then I couldn't. I don't know. It just didn't come up right away. So then I was like, you know what? I can.
Because
his
Twitter is the lion.
The lion. And so then I looked up and I photoshopped the little girl out of the lion hat and put it on Jon Jones.
Okay, I understand now. I was highly confused.
Yeah, it'll probably show up better for the TV audience at home, bigger screens, you know.
But it's the Jon Jones. I think this is not the first time. It's not the first time we've talked about it. It's not the last time that we will talk about it. Jon Jones versus Francis and Ganoon, like I said at the top, has the potential to be one of the highest selling pay-per-views in history. That is, if Jon gets it together and Francis Ngannou commits to the UFC. That is, at this point, probably unlikely for both guys.
Yeah.
And I think that Jon Jones, we might not ever see him in the UFC ever again. And I think we're going to have to start being okay with that. And I think for Jon Jones to get on with his life, that might be the best option to find a life outside of fighting.
Yeah. And I really, I think for all Jon Jones' talk and all of what he does, I think there's an element when he says, like, when he gives credence to God's plan, as much as you can look at that and say, you know what, like, whatever, like, you're just saying that it's lip service. And then to an extent, that's true, but at the same time, I think, like, it's straight up God's plan, whether Jon Jones comes back to the UFC or not. At this point, I don't think it's in Jon Jones's control. It's outside of him. I think he's going to continue to play. I think part of it is I see here, between the lines, I see a message to Dana White, you call me. I'm not going to call you. I think he's waiting he wants Dana White to call him and say, hey, we need you. Versus Jon Jones calling Dana White and saying, hey, you have this champion. I want to fight him. And I think that's been the little game of cat and mouse that's been played for the last little bit. I
agree with you. I agree with you about you're the religious guy, so I'll leave the God's plan to you. But where Jon Jones saying to Dana White, you call me, I agree with you. And I think that's a large part why we haven't seen him. Because Dana White's going, I don't need you. Jon Jones needs the UFC more than UFC needs Jon Jones. And Jon Jones is probably the only person on this earth that doesn't believe that and thinks that they need him, which is why there's going to be this back and forth still where he wants to get paid, wants people to rush to him, wants all of this stuff. And the UFC's going, we don't got to give it to you. We don't have to take the risk of even signing you to a fight contract right now because we don't need you. We're going to sell. The light heavyweight division rolling along without you. Heavyweight division's rolling along without you. We don't need these risks.
The heavyweight division never had him, and it was fine. So if the light heavyweight division is popping right now, it is on fire right now, the light heavyweight division.
Yeah, Glover Teixeira versus Yuri Prochazka is going to be a very fun fight that got announced.
Yes, so... All right, is that enough for Jon Jones?
Yes.
All right, now, Bellator to unify the heavyweight belt with Bader versus Moldavsky.
Yeah,
this weekend.
We talked about the UFC heavyweight title. The Bellator version of it is going to occur this weekend, and we have Ryan Bader, who's the champion, versus Valentin Moldavsky. I don't know how to say it. He's the interim champ.
Is there an of there? Then I probably spelled this name wrong.
Yeah, you definitely spelled it wrong, I think. But it's a situation.
No, I don't. I really don't think I did. You talk about this. I'm gonna verify.
And you're gonna vote. Okay. So Ryan Bader has not fought at heavyweight since 2019 when he had a no contest against Czech Congo. He's not won a fight at heavyweight since, I believe, January 2019 when he beat Fedor Emelianenko. He went and lost his light heavyweight title, won the first round of the light heavyweight Grand Prix, and then lost to Corey Anderson. So since winning the heavyweight title, he's went 1-2-1 with one of those fights, the no contest at heavyweight, where Moldavsky has went on a tear since he came to Bellator. He's won 6 straight fights, earned the interim title against Timothy Johnson. This is a fight. Ryan Bader's over the hill. He's not winning fights. The only reason why he's been able to hold on to the heavyweight title, no offense to him, is because he just hasn't fought. Bellator loves to let people become double champ and then just never force them to defend their belts. So this is how this situation's been created. I think Moldavsky goes in there. I think he mops the floor with Ryan Bader. I don't think this is close. Moldavsky's out of that Fedor Emelianenko camp. Nemkov out of the same camp just not too long ago and knocked Ryan Bader senseless. So they got the game plan for it. I think Moldavsky's got the skill set to do it as well. Ryan Bader's had a great career. I'm not taking anything away from him. It's just it's not his time right now. And Bellator, they gotta get it together. The fact that this title hasn't been defended since 2019 is ridiculous. But it's a good fight. It's a good fight. It's a good matchup that they made, and they're making it on a Saturday when there's no UFC too. Very smart.
Yes. Yes, this is gonna be good. The big heavyweights coming out, and I mean, Ryan Bader has been the guy, really the face of Bellator for years now. The marquee guy is Darth Bader, my opinion. When I think of Bellator,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think of Ryan Bader. Because I mean, first of all, like he's just heavyweight, top of the card, and he's just
mhm.
got that perfect name, and he's just a company man. He's gonna ride it out. He's been the best, and yeah, I think this is the time where he just kind of you spend so much time bouncing between two divisions, and you kind of and you start to lose in one, and you're sitting there, and then you got this belt. You've already lost the belt because people know you're fading. So Moldavsky, who I did it bad, dude. I thought I missed like a letter. I was wondering about a letter. I did it bad. Two letters are off, and they're not even is well. The first is like it's mold, like so it's like mo, and
Mhm.
then instead of Akski, it's Abski. So I mean the mold and the mouth that's understandable, but you can't do a K. You can't mix a K with a V. I did the man dirty.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
It's a good fight. It goes to show when you compare back-to-back weekends for heavyweight title fights, the really levels between the UFC and Bellator. It's Bellator's definitely not at the UFC's level as much as Scott Coker will want to tell you that they are, but it's still a fun fight. It's definitely one to tune into, especially with no UFC going on. I'm excited for it in all honesty, and I think this is the Fedor Emelianenko's team, and he's going to become an elite coach, and
Hmm.
his pupils are going to take over at least Bellator
Hmm.
in this MMA world, and it's going to be fun to see.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Fedor. And that's another one of Bellator's great heavyweights right there. That is a guy just fantastic. I love Fedor, and to
Mhm.
see him coaching is
Yeah,
dangerous.
when he's
You,
still fighting too, he's still fighting because
is he
and
still
with
fighting?
his last, yeah, he's still fighting. He just had a knockout win, I believe, in the summer. If Bader wins this fight, Fedor is probably stepping in with Bader.
Actually,
Yeah,
wow. What is he like?
yeah.
48 years old?
He's mid 40s. Yeah, I think he's getting up
It's
there.
like old. I guess I mean, a lot of cold showers or something. But
Yeah, yeah. All right. Last topic.
all right, the UFC. I typed something on the thing and then there we go. Okay, knockout currency, UFC Strike NFTs, packs. We opened a couple yesterday. Brad, what are your thoughts?
Well, apparently you guys love it because we woke up this morning
Yeah.
and the video popped. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the it's interesting. I'm not shocked the UFC's doing it. Shocked that it took them this long to do it. Um, what's the matter there,
No,
Chris?
I was just looking at the video. I didn't check it this morning.
Yeah, it's cool. We opened the packs. You can check the video. It'll probably be linked at the end of this video. The marketplace for the UFC to sell them and trade them has not opened up yet,
Mm-hmm.
so it's hard to tell because it's all going to be in the resale value. Nobody's
Mm-hmm.
buying these to be like, oh, I got the Paddy Pimblett knockout. I'm so excited. I'm going to look at this every night. People want to resell them. That's what NFTs are about. We'll see when the marketplace opens up. They have their series. This was their Series O drop. They're
Mm-hmm.
coming out with their Series 1 drop January 31st. Probably going to get in on that again, and we'll probably release a video for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting. They did a good job marketing them up until the fight. A lot of them
Mm-hmm.
were based off of Ngannou, Gane, Figueiredo, Moreno. We had Ngannou wearing the necklace with his numbered out as 75 NFT of his knockout over Reem. That if you want to meme that, that's fine, but that's kind of cool. And if I was Francis and Ganoon and I knocked somebody out in that fashion, I'd probably wear the necklace like that too. So I think I think it's cool. It is it's the future. People love these NFTs. Why not get into them?
Yeah, I'm a little bit more skeptical, and I think like, and I'm gonna do something that like we probably should. Like, I'm gonna just say, like, some of the comments on that video we put out with the NFT thing, you just see the grease come out, like all the greasy salesmen come out. Like, I think
Oh yes. Oh my
there's
goodness.
something very slimy about NFTs at their core, crypto at their core. And I'm not saying like if you trade crypto, like there's reputable people, but I think just at the level we're at, if we're gonna put out any content around NFTs, it's just gonna attract, the bot. I think most of them are bots. Like there's a guy having a conversation with himself in our comments about
Two of them. There
about
was
this
two
guy.
different
Yeah,
people like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
having a
the
conversation.
bots definitely. I think at the time that we're recording, there's 55, 60 comments, something like that on it. About 12 of them are literally just bots talking to each other.
Yeah.
The one thing I noticed, the one thing I noticed too, that there's a lot of people asking for advice about the NFTs, like what we think the value is, how we think they're gonna sell, what about the marketplace, how do you buy them, stuff like that. So I think it's if you come to us asking for advice on NFTs, that tells you where the knowledge of the NFT market is, because I don't know the answer
Yeah,
to any
we
of these
okay,
questions.
but I had said that we own. You had asked like, can we show these clips on YouTube? And I said, oh, we own the clips now. We have the NFT, and you're like, okay, cool. But and like we were joking around, right? We were goofing around about that. But I think people took our just the way we talk. We're just gonna be. They take us as
Yeah,
authoritative. They're saying so now. They're asking for advice. And it's like,
one
man,
guy
I didn't even.
commented with like a YouTube clip of the Ngannou knockout and asked if we get royalties from it.
What? We get
He's
royalties
like, yeah,
from.
do you get royalties from this knockout because you own it now? Like, there's 24,000, and I don't even think like the UFC could pretty much be like, we're Chris's mic's gone. The UFC could come out tomorrow and be like, we don't even want these anymore, the garbage, and I think that would be the end of it. Yeah, we can't hear you, Chris. We still can't hear you. So I'm gonna keep going here. Yeah, it's the NFTs. Very interesting. I'm not
I'm
saying
back.
don't comment, and I'm not saying don't comment and ask for opinions, because we'll give our opinions on them.
Yeah.
But be wary that any advice we give
Any advice
is
anybody
given,
gives.
yes, is not concrete. We don't know what we're talking about. We're giving our opinion and knowledge on the matter as it stands right now. And no,
Yeah.
we do not make royalties off of Francis and Ganou's knockout of Jairzinho Rozenstruik, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well,
We
I
make
mean,
royalties
it's
off this
crazy.
video.
Yeah. We don't. Yeah. But yeah, it's funny when it's just the whole concept is funny because it's shaped like a coin. It's shaped like an octagon, but they're going for a coin. Like, do you imagine just spending this one day? Like, you're really down bad, you know. You're just like your life is in ruin, financial ruin. You're about to go have to move to like the poor neighborhood of the metaverse. You're just in bad trouble. You owe money to your bookie or something, and you're like, I'm gonna go into my little loot box of treasures, and you're gonna sell the Francis and Ganoon. Kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a wild world we live in, Chris.
Yeah.
But we had to talk about the NFTs. You guys loved them, and we want this video to pop too, so we need that in the description. But with that being said, Chris, you got anything else on today's episode? I think we went long here. We almost went an hour again.
Oh my, 45 minutes. Yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah.
All right, Brad, where
With
can
that being
people find us?
yeah, make sure we're on. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're on audio platform, rate, review. You can always find us on one of the other wherever you find your podcasts or on YouTube. 500 subscriber giveaway whenever we hit it. And thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. We're here every week for the MMA show. All the MMA news you need.
Have a great week.